one of the first Gen Zers there in Congress. He said, dad, husband, veteran, teacher, high school football coach, congressman, governor, and very soon vice president of the U.S. Tim Walz knows what it means to show the people that government
Welcome,
can
guys.
work
It's
for
me, Linda
them.
B. Thank you all
Let's
so much
win
for
this.
joining me here
Hashtag
today.
Harris
You
Walz
may hear some barking in the
2024.
background, but I wanted to
Bernie
bring up the
Sanders
fact
just
that
putting out Tim
Kamala
Walz is a great
Harris
asset
has
to Kamala.
selected her VP, and his name is Tim Walz of Minnesota. I just wanted to do this live stream real quick. This just came out just moments ago, and he is her VP pick to go up against, J.D. Vance, the senator out of Ohio. And I'm not familiar with Tim Walz, but we have a live here from Fox, and I'll continue that.
Harris's winning campaign and administration. He's a former public school teacher, football coach, and strong union supporter. As governor, he delivered for working families in Minnesota. As VP, he will deliver for the working families of the U.S.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yes, really. Carlos Rodriguez. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Don't know what time it is where you are, but where I am, it is 10:21 a.m. I'm on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. Hope you guys are having a fantastic morning so far. And we're going to talk about this VP pick by Kamala Harris, Tim Walz. And I am going to just play the stream, and I'll make my commentary here and there. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let's get back into the video.
Alon Omar saying, congratulations to our next vice president, Tim Walz. Our North Star State governor has signed universal school meals, paid family and sick leave, marijuana legalization, and protections for reproductive rights into law, bringing Minnesota right to the ticket. Again, we read this for you earlier, but that was the statement coming in from the Trump campaign in response to this. We also have Arkansas Senator, once again, Tim Cotton, Republican, who tweeted out that photo and said Tim Walz is a perfect choice for Kamala Harris. He let BLM rioters, arsonists, and looters rampage through his state, and she encouraged donations to the bail fund for the few who were arrested. All right, everybody, do want to head back to our Fox 9 Minneapolis team to get some of their reaction here, as they do have live reports.
It is 9:17 right now. Welcome back to Good Day. We are in breaking news mode this morning. Of course, Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. That is the news reports we're hearing. Fox 9's Paul Bloom joined us live in the newsroom with more.
Good morning, Paul.
Yeah, good morning, Kelly, Alex. I heard you before the commercial break, just how exciting a time it is in the newsroom and in this selection of Governor Walz. Of course, we're all trying to reach out to our contacts.
Where you are.
Just heard from former mayor, Minneapolis Mayor R.C. Ryback, and the others.
Good morning, Kenny.
You know, in terms of perspective, from my vantage, I remember covering Governor Walz in 2018 in the build-up to the gubernatorial election. Of course, he would go on to defeat Hennepin County Commissioner Jeff Johnson at that time. And as a reporter who was at the DFL party that night where he won, you might recall his theme of One America, the flannel red and then black shirts and jackets, campaigning across the state. I had the chance, I think I was the very first reporter to grab him. They had just announced Governor Walz, Tim Walz, at the time, obviously a U.S. House of Representative for about a decade down in the Mankato area. And he had come campaigned positive message throughout, the folksy look, the flannel, campaigning across Minnesota. And he had won. And we just thought it was a neat moment at this time where he's about to be unveiled to.
And I just want to say, you know, every platform, whether it's Democrat, Republican, they typically have the same thing for their parties. So with the Demon Rats, you are going to get what they call or what they coin as reproductive rights, but there's nothing reproductive about an abortion. So, you know, you get all this crazy stuff. You get legalization of, you know, marijuana. You get defunding the police. You get a lot of things that a lot of us on the right, we just detest. And they look at more gun control, which sounds like you might be taking away law-abiding citizens' rights to protect ourselves. So everything they say on the left, nothing on the left lines with my morals, my principles. I vote my values. And you guys can tell me what you know about Tim Walz. I'm going to give you a little bit of information on him really quick. I'm just going to read this off. It says, Kamala Harris names Tim Walz, the Minnesota governor, as running mate. Under Walz's leadership, Minnesota has seen progressive legislation wins, and his simple retort that Republicans are weird went viral. So he's saying some of us are weird. Kamala Harris, the de facto Democratic nominee for U.S. president, has named Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, as her running mate ahead of the November election. The decision ends intense speculation over which candidate Harris would pick to go up against Donald Trump, the Republican nominee and former president, and his choice for VP, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Walz first ran for office in 2006 in a Republican-leaning congressional district, upsetting the incumbent. He kept the seat until he won the Minnesota governorship in 2018, then again in 2022. Under his leadership, the state has seen massive progressive legalization wins in recent years, including universal school meals, legalized marijuana, abortion protections, and gun control measures. Before he entered public office, he was a school teacher in Mankato, Minnesota, teaching geography to high school students, who also served in the Army National Guard for 24 years. And I'm getting this article from The Guardian. So that's The Guardian, that you can go check that out. And so is Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota. Let's get back into this video.
To the rest of the country, if you will, to take a look back at my exchange with him, 2018, Tim Walz at the time, Representative Tim Walz, learning he had just become the state's governor.
Mr. Governor-elect, how does that sound?
I'll tell you what, we're trying to let it all soak in, but what I've been saying is when we ran a campaign based on a positive message, one Minnesota where we come together rather than divide, that sounds pretty good.
And you're ready to reach across that aisle tomorrow?
Ready to go. I think you heard it up there. I think it's very important in a night like this, sending a message to our business leaders, sending a message to folks who may not agree with us. I need to be the governor for them too. I need to listen to what they have to say. Bring them in.
And obviously that is 6 years ago. You wonder what kind of message he takes to the national stage. Of course, this is a partisan situation here. The choice of vice president will be scrutinized all across the country. Again, in our backyard from the DFL today, a day to celebrate this from DFL chairman Ken Martin. The entire country is about to see why their friends from Minnesota cannot stop bragging about Governor Walz by picking a servant leader, born and raised in a small town, of course, down there in Nebraska, who's dedicated his career to protecting freedoms and lifting up working families. Vice President Harris has chosen the perfect foil for J.D. Vance and his politics of resentment. Under Governor Walz's leadership, Minnesota has built a model for how Democrats across the nation can both win elections and improve people's lives. We could not be more excited to help bring the Minnesota magic to this campaign and to put Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the White House. Obviously still an election to win there for Governor Walz, now Vice President. The choice of Kamala Harris, but it's certainly a big day locally, just in terms of a political figure, from humble roots, school teacher, football coach, U.S. House of Representative, member of the U.S. House, of course, his Army service in the National Guard, and now to VP choice.
I'm doing fine,
National
Kendra
Democratic
Smith.
ticket. Alex Kendall.
Hi, Candace.
Yeah.
Yes, two Marxist
We'll send it
Democrat.
back
Yes,
into the
you know
newsroom
what they
for
are.
the both of you.
Sure. And of course,
A dim is a
he's an
demon.
educator is
The
a big
policies
part
seem
of his,
demonic to me.
his background as well.
Luciferian.
So we'll be hearing
You
more
know.
about what he's going to be doing on that front. Thank you, Paul.
Hi
Certainly
there.
had plenty of time to follow him around over the years.
Hi,
Appreciate it, Paul. We
Revisited
want to get now
Things.
to
Hi,
Bill Keller. He's
everyone. I
live
can't name
in
everyone's
St.
name,
Paul
but
outside
hello,
the
everyone.
governor's residence. Of course, been an activity hub in the last couple of hours. It was a little slow this morning, but obviously it's definitely picked up. Bill, I assume obviously that's some media, but also just residents there, people in the neighborhood behind you?
Yeah, you know, when I showed up here about 4 hours ago, it was about 4:30 in the morning, and it was me and a producer from another media outlet just kind of staking out. You almost have to ask yourself, am I at the right location? Yeah, I think we figured out the right spot of where Governor Walz is hanging out this morning. It's been a very busy morning in just the last hour and a half since news broke that he is expected to be the
hello,
vice
Captain.
presidential
Thank you so much
running
for your
mate
super
for
sticker. I really
Kamala Harris.
appreciate it.
It's
Thank you.
been a lot of folks just coming by, taking
And someone else
selfies,
gave us the
taking
sticker,
kind of
but I
trying to
can
be a
tell- okay,
part
no,
of
that was
this
just you.
moment that has
Thank
a
you
really
so
nice
much.
energy. The weather is ideal for this. People just walking by and kind of
Hey
smiling to
there,
themselves
Ray
that their governor is now going to be on a national stage. In
Luke,
fact, I spoke with one woman
hello.
who literally just got the news when I broke it to her.
Oh, really, Luke?
Hey, good morning.
Governor
You guys
Tim
heard the
Walz
news?
signed a bill
I
to
just
allow
heard. I
men to
laughed
play
out
in
loud.
women's sports.
You
I'm not
laughed out
familiar
loud.
with
Yes.
them,
Well,
so I'll
I'm
have to do my
excited.
research, but I'll take your
I
word for it.
hate to
Definitely.
lose a wonderful governor, but I love Peggy Flanagan. I'm in early childhood education, and she's a strong advocate, as Walz has been. I'm excited for the country. I'm excited about Harris. I've been excited since I heard the news about that. So I'm thrilled for Minnesota to be represented on the ticket, and we will figure this out. And we're going to be strong supporters of the Walz and Harris ticket.
So, George Floyd,
Well, I think
it stated that in an article that I wrote, that I read, excuse me, it said that Tim Walz was for, I think he allowed the BLM riots, is what he did. Those riots were heavy in 2020 because what happened to George Floyd happened, in May 2020, and there were riots everywhere. And Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who has just been selected as Kamala Harris's VP pick, allowed those BLM riots. And he is for, as you know, all demon rats are for abortion, and they are for legalization of marijuana and things like that. So he just allowed those riots and the looting. Well, they're going to make him sound impressive in the media, especially the left-leaning media. They're going to make, that's what I'm talking about when I say media, the propaganda. They're going to make him sound like he's so impressive. Like, look at what they're doing with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has a horrible California record. They're trying to sanitize her record to make her look like something that she is not. She actually framed men. And Black people are saying they're going to be with her, but then she's not with us. She actually framed Black men and wanted to brag about her conviction rate. There was one man you all need to look up. His name is Jamal Truelove. He was falsely framed for murder back in 2007 or 2008, served 6.5 years in a high security prison in which he was stabbed. And then only a few years later, the man comes out and makes an announcement on social media that this is in 2020 when he made this announcement exactly 4 years ago. The same man that Kamala Harris framed and put in prison, and he got out. He was found to be innocent. She framed him. The city awarded him more than $13 million, but a few years later, he actually said that he was going to support Biden and Harris over Trump. He said this in 2020. There's a post of him on Twitter from August of 2020 saying he's not going with Trump, he's going with Biden and Harris. And this is the woman that put him in prison, and he was innocent, proven to be innocent. The Stockholm syndrome is real. The delusion is real. That is total insanity to me. And that's one of the things about Kamala Harris that can be brought up is her convictions of people who are innocent and letting people go who are guilty of horrible crimes. She puts the guilty people, she makes them free and put the innocent in prison. That makes no sense. Why should anybody go along with her? And then look at the record that the Biden-Harris administration has currently. It is demonic. We have overran borders, inflation, a stock market looking like it's going to crash. A Kamala crash is what they're calling it. And yet we're supposed to vote for this person? Make it make sense. It makes no sense. Thank you so much, Dark Waters. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. I'm on my way to 50,000 subscribers, but we have got to get my videos out, get the message out, and we just got to do what we need to do to make sure that we get out and vote, whatever we do. So I'm going to get back to the video.
he's very practical. I think he's been a clear advocate for everyday people. And people know that he's a teacher. He comes from not the urban areas. He has a more rural greater Minnesota background. And I think just the way he talks about things, it makes common sense to people. He doesn't try to use political language. He just tries to get the work done. And I think that's going to be valuable, even though we're not a swing state. I think he's going to speak to swing state voters because of how he approaches getting things done.
And that was one of the same thoughts I got from another resident who said, you pick your vice presidential candidate because you want somebody that's going to appeal to the largest number of voters to strengthen your ticket and hopefully pick up some wins in those swing states. But he said the bottom line is he likes the way that Governor Walz has governed, not just here to try and get votes, but actually help in their, not just the campaign, but in a potential for her time in office. Back to you guys.
Okay.
All right. Bill Keller for us there live in St. Paul. Obviously, a lot of people trying to get a picture, maybe trying to get a glimpse. At this point, we should just, again, kind of step back here. At this point, nothing has come out of the Harris campaign. They had said that they would make the announcement in some form soon. That has not.
And they actually said no announcement had come out, but I do want to correct that because moments ago, Kamala Harris tweeting out here, maybe about a minute ago, saying, I am proud to announce that I've asked Tim Walz to be my running mate as a governor, a coach, a teacher, and a veteran. He's delivered for working families like his. It's great to have him on the team. Now let's get to work. Again, that statement here just coming out on social media, and that is from Kamala Harris. We're also getting a lot of reaction coming in from different lawmakers here. We do have Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida.
Minnesota was ground zero for the BLM riots in 2020.
In American history,
Harris egged it on.
Minnesota was ground zero for the BLM riots of 2020. Harris egged it on, and Walz sat by and let Minneapolis burn. Also have this post that came in from the Associated Press. They did release this information via sources maybe a little more than an hour ago, and we've been bringing that to you right here on Live Now from Fox. Do want to head to a quick break now at 10:29 on the East Coast.
They're heading to a break. Let's see.
And 7.
So they're heading to a break now. But you guys, now we know who the ticket's going to be. I was still thinking, I don't know if you guys have seen my video with Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris on the thumbnail, but I put, Kamala's out, Michelle is in. This is coming from Vivek Ramaswamy, and we all know who Vivek is. He was running for president under the Republican ticket. He's saying that it actually will end up being Michelle Obama. I don't know how they would work that. I don't know the logistics behind that at all, how it could end up being Michelle. I don't know how that will work. Other than it could be an open convention. That historically has not gone well for the party that has the open convention. So do you guys think that it will not be Kamala, or do you think it's set in stone now that it's going to be Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? Now that she's actually picked her VP before the convention, of course, I don't know what's in these people's heads, right? I don't know, but I've just been feeling for a long time that Kamala Harris is not a very strong candidate. Her history, her record in California is working against her. And a lot of people that she's trying to get to vote for her, Black people, are not really wanting to vote for her. A lot of people don't want her. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. And I think that's really hurting her ticket. What do you all think? Do you think it'll be actually Michelle Obama, or do you think it's actually going to be Kamala Harris and now Tim Walz as her running mate? Someone said, I can't imagine, Ellie Shack said, I can't imagine a more leftist ticket with crappy cities because of their policies. Yep. She's an empty pantsuit. Doesn't matter who her VP pick is. It will only be 4 more years of the same abysmal hail of the Biden-Harris years. I totally agree with that. Renix, I agree with that. I totally do. Robert Rise, loud. That sounds like me. Lord have mercy. I'm from the South, so we say loud. Yeah. Jane, you're saying that Michelle doesn't want it, but just because someone doesn't want something doesn't mean they really have a choice. Vivek said these people are puppets. It doesn't matter what they want. You know, Joe Biden wanted to stay in the race, and you saw what happened to him. You know, he's out. He's out. And now it's Kamala for now. So I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I just got this feeling. And then Vivek Ramaswamy, he actually confirmed it. So yeah. Yep. Yeah, these protests are terroristic. I could see our country on fire if they take office. Wow. Let's get back to the video here. Looks like they're back.
Was going to take place starting in Pennsylvania. So that led a lot of people to say, well, it's going to be Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania's governor, but now we know it's Tim Walz. So your thoughts overall on that?
Well, and in fact, that was probably my thought as well when we saw that it was going to be a Pennsylvania kickoff. But ultimately, what you see here in the pick, I think, is sort of a counterbalance to Harris. This is a governor. This is somebody who has had a career outside of politics. As they mentioned in the tweet, he's been a coach, he's been a teacher, he's been in military service before. So he has this background that I think could connect more with just regular voters. And I think another thing, a part of what Walz does, is that he has a track record in Minnesota that kind of demonstrates what the Harris team thinks is potentially could be what the United States could look like, some of the policies that he's implemented, particularly around education. So I'm not totally surprised, but again, he was not talked about in the last couple of weeks as being the front runner, and now he's emerged as the vice presidential nominee. So we'll see what the campaign brings in November. I would suspect one of the strategies around this is that he will be able to campaign in multiple battleground states, particularly in the Midwest and in Michigan, which has become ever more important in this election.
Does it matter that he doesn't necessarily have that same name recognition? You talked about the fact that we really haven't heard much about him. His name kind of snuck up in there all of a sudden. So does that name recognition matter overall?
I think name recognition in general does matter. However, being the vice presidential nominee does give him name recognition, and there's going to be people learning more about him. And I think that one of the things that is maybe the strongest component to his background is his story of working in education, being a father, being a person who has grown up in these small towns and from the Midwest. So I think that's going to be something people learn about and engage more with as time goes on. But name recognition, you're right. It was not a front runner and was not somebody outside of Minnesota that was all that well known.
So
how does his name recognition, so to speak, compare to Trump's VP pick of J.D. Vance? Because a lot of people would say, I've heard the name J.D. Vance, but didn't really know much about him until Trump picked him as his VP.
That's right. And in a lot of times with VPs, you don't know a lot about them, and particularly if they come from statewide office like a governor or even a United States senator. The difference with Vance is that Vance was very well known in literary circles and readers of his
more about this, Hillary.
autobiography, Hillbilly Elegy, and then also the movie that came from that. So there is this sort of prepackaged life story of Vance, where it's not the case with really any vice presidential nominee that we've ever seen.
Yes,
one of the things that I think that we'll see with Walz is a kind of a counterbalance with Vance. And in some respects, they both have a background of coming from rural areas. They both have a background of being in the military.
Okay,
and
so Jane, you're saying
also kind of be an undertone there of a comparison between the two. Obviously, Walz will have a little bit more of a challenge getting his story and his background out because he doesn't have that prepackaged biography out there for people to consume or a film about his life. But again, I think that is part of this strategy of going into kind of rural America, talking about voters that may feel like they've been left out of the process and connecting with voters in those battleground states.
Hillary is washed up.
The battleground states, no question, are going to be basically the deciding factor here, it does appear. My question question for you.
Oh,
Does it look like there's kind of an even matchup at this point, based on polling, what you know, what you've seen, between Trump and Harris as of right now? Is it a pretty level playing field?
Well, it certainly is a tight race. And I think that what's emerged in the last month is that Democrats were very concerned about Biden. And then they have become very enthusiastic about Harris. And so that led her to have a surge in the polls. And then there's more of an even matchup. I would caution around looking at national polls as an indicator of election results, because the Electoral College doesn't work that way. So you have to look at these individual state polls. And in those swing states, Trump and Harris are very close. Trump is ahead in some, Harris is ahead in some. So again, it is still a race that is not a foregone conclusion for either side. I think if these picks, like the VP pick, policy positions, become ever more important, because you're talking about the margin of victory within these states may boil down to very few swing voters. And so a pick like Walz or a pick like Vance, they really, as part of the calculation by the campaign, to say, okay, how can we get our narrative out? Another thing about Walz, I would say, in the swing states, is that he has proven to be an effective communicator. And I think that he has emerged in the last week or so online in some of his interviews, really being able to articulate a message. And that may also be part of that strategy to get someone out there as the surrogate of Harris and say, okay, this is what we're going to do if we're elected, and really taking that case to the voters, particularly voters that may not be decided as of yet.
And as far
and I just want to, this was just,
as far as I know, you're
this rather, I want to say that gosh, no Democrat policy is going to work. You guys, their policies just don't work for the average American person. We looking at what is going on now with the stock market crashing, potential for World War III, inflation, and a border that's overrun. Everything is so expensive. I can't imagine that people would just be so duped they could ignore all that and still vote for Kamala. I just can't even imagine. But, the derangement that is out there, the Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, it is real. And I told you about the man, Jamal Truelove, whom Kamala Harris, her office, actually framed him. And he served 6.5 years in a high security prison, and the man was innocent. She blocked information that could have freed him. And he mentioned when he was being sentenced that she was there and she had a smirk on her face. But yet this man got out of prison because evidence came forth that freed him, because he was being sentenced to 50 years. Jamal Truelove was sentenced to 50 years in prison. But evidence came forth. He was freed. The city of San Francisco gave him $13.1 million. And a few years later, he's going to say that he endorsed Biden and Harris. He endorsed them back in 2020. This is the same woman, her office put him in prison and he was innocent. Can anybody make that make sense? I don't know if he was pressured to do that because the demon rats knew that this was out there and they wanted to kind of sanitize it and wash it away, because the power that is out there, the evil powers that be, they have a lot of power, but they're not all powerful. But that just freaked me out. I just did a video about that. That just freaked me out. It's like this woman put you in prison and smirked and laughed at you, and you still supported her a few years later. I just can't. It makes me sick to my stomach sometimes, these people. Wow. Okay, Billy Do, it says you're from Minnesota. You said he's not that bad. Yes, don't trust Kamala. But you don't like how he handled the riots, Billy Do. Okay. Billy the One Jack. Okay. Oh, you're saying he got paid, Monica. That's what I think too, Luke, that he must have been pressured, because, and you can find this on Twitter, Jamal Truelove, and it's Trulove. But I did a video about it and I was just like, what? I can't believe this. She wants Medicare for all, communism. anything that's communism, you notice that the demon rats are for it. So I just wanted to give my little 2 cents. Let's see.
All right. Casey Myers, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and break it all down. Obviously, a lot of developments and a lot left to see as far as really just how everything plays out over the next several months. I think I forgot to ask you here, as far as those swing states go, what's it going to come down to as far as what states are going to be the most important?
You're really looking in this election at 3 states. You're looking at Michigan, you're looking at Pennsylvania, and you're looking at Wisconsin. And if you look at those polls are kind of all over the place. Sometimes you'll see Harris up, sometimes you'll see Trump up. But I would look at Pennsylvania and I would look at Michigan. Those are the 2 big ones.
All right, Casey, thank you again for being here. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
This is going to be a very close race, I believe, in 2024. And I would look over the next several months how the vice presidential candidates on both sides are utilized to really take that case to the people in those battleground states. And I would suspect if I'm in Pennsylvania or if I'm in Michigan, I'm going to get a lot of television ads and candidate appearances.
I think that's a pretty good guess. Thank you again for taking the time to join us here this morning and help break it down.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, the time now is 10:43 on the East Coast and 7:43 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I've been here for the past several hours to bring you all of your breaking news, top stories, and live events. And we did learn, of course, just several hours ago that Kamala Harris has chosen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate in the 2024 election. Now, we do.
Yeah, I just want to pause him. So I want to look up something else that's interesting about this Tim Walz. Oh, wow. This is someone who just posted this. Okay. And I don't know if you guys can see this. This is Minnesota under Tim Walz. This is what I'm sharing with you all right now. It looks like a war zone. I'll make it bigger for you. This must have been back in 2020. Wow, look at all the fires. Look at that. Whoa. Whoa. Look at this. This is in Minnesota under Tim Walz. Look at that. Do we want that in our country? Do we seriously want this? Look at this video. This is what progressivism gets you. Whoa. Whoa. That's insane. That is insane. And I was looking for other, okay, and here's another one. This is Tim Walz. This was.
All right, ready. Whoa, wait a minute.
This is him changing out the Minnesota flag. This is Tim Walz again to look like the Somalian flag.
There, that's better. All right, ready. Whoa, wait a minute.
And he's going to show it. I'm going to show it to you again. This is taking out the Minnesota flag. This is the governor, Tim Walz, exchanging the Minnesota flag for what looks like to be a Somalian flag. Is that a Somalian flag? And then he says, that's better.
There, that's better. All right, ready.
Wow. Yeah, some kind of way just got past what I was trying to do here. Hold on a second. I'm just going through showing you guys this. And this is what list of Somali flags. Hopefully you can see this. The first one, the one that he brought up, looks similar to that list of Somali flags. So That's insane, guys. What do you all think about that? Wow. Oh, wow. And here, this is under Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh says, this is the image that defines Tim Walz. During the Floyd riots, he allowed a mob of thugs to burn a police station to the ground, right in the middle of Minneapolis. Everything you need to know about him can be seen here. 1,000 words, as they say. Yes, a picture says 1,000 words. This is the Minneapolis police station. You see, it says it right here. You see the fire, you see people. See, the demon rats bring chaos. They bring lawlessness and disorder and dysfunction. And mental illness is praised as something good. You know, and I mean that with the transgenderism. Everything about them is just anti-God. If you notice, that's why I call them the demon rat party. And again, this is Matt Walsh. And you see it's the Minneapolis police station. That is crazy. And this is what they want to push. Okay, this is something that someone, Mike Murphy, pushed out. I am going to let you play this for you.
I've just signed Executive Order 20-01, declaring a peacetime state of emergency for the state of Minnesota. We need to stop congregating. We're going to close the bars. We're going to close the restaurants. We're going to close the places where we gather. Several 100,000 of your neighbors were just laid off. An entire industry.
I'm not sure if that was Tim Walz. Let me just make sure. I'm not sure that. I just wanted to make sure. Hold on a second. Okay, this is Tim Walz. I wanted to make sure that it was Tim Walz.
Congregating.
Let me just go back. This is Tim Walz.
I just signed Executive Order 20-01, declaring a peacetime state of emergency for the state of Minnesota. We need to stop congregating. We're going to close the bars. We're going to close the restaurants. We're going to close the places where we gather. Several 100,000 of your neighbors were just laid off. An entire industry has been shut down in the face of this, all for the greater good.
The governor, with the power of the state constitution behind him, has issued 104 executive orders affecting everything from schools to restaurants and bars to churches to basically every facet of everyday life.
Democrats who control the House are moving in the opposite direction. Some are pushing to put a mask mandate in state law.
Hi ho, the Dario. I wear a mask to school. It helps to keep me safe.
Explosive testimony from a Minneapolis police union official who says that the governor ordered cops to abandon that third precinct during the spring's rioting.
I was in the command post. I heard it. I heard the governor say, give it up.
At 9:32, Chief Arredondo calls the mayor to tell him they've lost control, can no longer maintain order in the city. And then at 10:13, Chief Arredondo, who's monitoring the scene from a couple blocks away, gets in the radio to announce defeat.
Get a citywide tone right now in our loss of the third precinct.
The third precinct has been compromised.
The mayor said I request the National Guard. Ooh, I'm out. This is great. We're going to have massively trained troops. No, you're going to have 19-year-olds who are cooks.
What? Okay, what do you all think about that right there? This is real. This evidently was someone named Mike Murphy who was running for governor but lost to Tim Walz. And this is an ad. And wow. But you said strip clubs stayed open. He obviously believes in the rule of government over the people. Pure evil is trying to take absolute power. Democrat Party is full on commie. Mostly peaceful riots, laugh out loud. Yeah, because the whole third precinct in Minneapolis was compromised, as they say. It had been totally burned and taken over. The chaos, the lawlessness. Democrats bring lawlessness. We know that. They bring lawlessness. And I'm going to play this again just in case you all didn't see that. This is Governor of Minnesota Tim Walz, who Kamala Harris picked as her VP.
I've just signed Executive Order 20-01, declaring a peacetime state of emergency for the state of Minnesota. We need to stop congregating. We're going to close the bars. We're going to close the restaurants. We're going to close the places where we gather. Several 100,000 of your neighbors were just laid off. An entire industry has been shut down in the face of this, all for the greater good.
The governor, with the power of the state constitution behind him, has issued 104 executive orders affecting everything from schools to restaurants and bars to churches to basically every facet of everyday life.
Democrats who control the House are moving in the opposite direction. Some are pushing to put a mask mandate in state law.
Hi ho, the Jerry, oh, I wear a mask to school. It helps to keep me safe.
Explosive testimony from a Minneapolis police union official who says that the governor ordered cops to abandon that third precinct during this spring's rioting.
I was in the command post. I heard it. I heard the governor say, give it up.
At 9:32, Chief Arredondo calls the mayor to tell him they've lost control, can no longer maintain order in the city. And then at 10:13, Chief Arredondo, who's monitoring the scene from a couple blocks away, gets on the radio to announce defeat.
Get a citywide tone right now in our loss of the third precinct.
The third precinct has been compromised.
The mayor said I request the National Guard. Ooh, I'm out this great. We're going to have massively trained troops. No, you're going to have 19-year-olds who are cooks.
It's insane. That is crazy. And this is who she picked. Oh, and this is another video. This is Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz. It looks like the end of the world. It looks apocalyptic. This is crazy. It looks like the end of the world. Look, everything's burned. Graffiti with profanity. Windows bashed out. We're in trouble. We got to pray, warriors. See how just depressing this is. Look at this. You see this gray smoke haze. Everything is burned to the ground. Things are destroyed. And I'm a Christian, and I got to say, one of the things that is a hallmark of how you know if it's of God or if it is of the devil, he has an MO. Steal, kill, and destroy. This is destruction right here. Killing is the abortion. And the stealing with those smash and grabs. That steal, kill, and destroy. And that is how you know that Satan is running the Democrat Party. And some Republicans are not that great either. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, who's running for governor of North Carolina, he's a Black Republican, and he said all the Democrats are evil, and sadly, half of the Republicans. So it's becoming a uniparty, and some things are just going to be end time things that can't be stopped. Unfortunately, we have to go through some rough spots here. We have to hold on to our faith. But you all tell me in the chat, what do you think about what I'm showing you right now? I mean, all that's missing are zombies. I mean, it looks so horrible, right? I mean, this is insane to me. Oh, and you guys, I have an upcoming, I did an interview early yesterday morning with a pastor by the name of Cliff McAnthony. He wrote the book, Trump the Great. I thought I had it right here in front of me. But anyway, I'm going to post that video Wednesday, August 14th, next Wednesday, and it will drop at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really want you all to watch that video. It's little over 30. I'm gonna try to get it down to just over 30 minutes. It's really good dialogue. He has a good accent, so I'm gonna try to work around that with subtitles, but he is a true man of faith and he's wonderful. And I want you all to check the video out. And his name is Pastor Cliff McAnthony. And I have to look up the name of his church. He's in Massachusetts. And I want to just give you the name of the church. He's over, let's see the name of the church. It is Holiness Revival Movement Worldwide in Massachusetts. Holiness Revival Movement. His name is Cliff McAnthony, and he has a book called Trump the Great. Trump the Great. You can get it on Amazon. And you can go, and that video I'll be pushing out Wednesday, August 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really want you all to watch it within the first hour. Like, comment, share it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Click the notification bell. And I really appreciate you all being here because my channel is growing, thankfully. And I'm on my way to 50,000 subscribers. And it's growing, but it's ticking slower than I was hoping. And I just want you all to really support me. I try to post my videos 4, 6, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday through Friday. Sometimes I will post at another time because like now, this is something that's major news. So I want to hurry up and get to it. So I may not wait until 4, 6, or 8 p.m. Eastern. So there's that. I could post at any time, but definitely during those times I post. And I don't know what people are thinking either. We are in the 30th percent of the world, Bella, Clyde. It's pure evil. I mean, look at this. And I'm going to show you some more. I don't want to depress you guys. I don't want to depress you. But this is like a sad scene in Minnesota. This is sad. Look at everything burned and destroyed. And remember that the devil, Satan himself, his MO is steal, kill, and destroy. And that is how you know that he is running. And Satan is about lawlessness. You got the profane words and graffiti here. Things are burned to the ground. This looks so sad. You got to admit, this looks apocalyptic. Like someone said, the only thing that's missing are zombies. And here, this is another thing with Tim Walz. It says, and this is on Twitter, DC Drano says, here is Tim Walz smiling as he signs a law that provides driver's license for illegal aliens in Minnesota. He wants all of America to do the same. This guy is as radical as it gets, and he wants them to have driver's licenses.
It's done.
A packed room at the St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
Driver's licenses even for illegal aliens.
The St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
Wow, wow, wow. Look, this is what we're getting right now. This is crazy. Yes, you guys hit the like button, share, subscribe, all the things. And what does that tell you? That tells you that this man is extremely radical. This man looks extremely radical. His city, under him, the state of Minnesota was burning to the ground, particularly Minneapolis. And he wants to make illegal aliens have driver's licenses. This is beyond crazy to me. This is beyond crazy. This is what our country has come to, because we need people that are for the right thing that are going to be vocal, because people that are for the wrong thing, they're all over the place, shouting loud and proud. And where are we? We have to stop being so quiet. We have to get out there and talk about the right thing. Where is God in all of this? God is not in lawlessness and disorder. God is in us loving him with everything we have and loving others as ourselves. That is what we're supposed to do as believers. And we got to pray for Donald Trump's safety, his wife, his children, his grandchildren. If he has any great grandchildren, I don't think he does. And also pray for JD Vance, his wife and kids, and those that'll be working with him that are for the right thing. We got to pray for that, because they are not going to give up. You know what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania? We already know what happened. Do you honestly think that is going to be the last time they try something? That won't be the last time. Okay, these people are desperate. They've gone from character assassination to impeachments, that all of these didn't work, to indictments, and then their cases started falling apart, and then they tried to do what they did July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. And do you think they're going to stop? I've read reports that that was actually not the first time they had an attack on his life, that Butler, Pennsylvania wasn't the first time. And it probably won't be the last, but God is in control. There's the God factor. So we got to keep praying, got to keep believing. We got to do this. Okay. We have a country, there are families, people we love live here. And right now we're teetering and tottering on a third world war because the powers that be, the evil powers that be, will do anything. There is no depth that is too low that they will not sink. They are immoral. They are anti-God, anti-American. They hate God. They hate America. They hate women. They don't even know what a woman is. They hate our children. Look at the laws. They're letting illegals come in and take the resources from Americans. That means they hate America. And they hate God, most importantly. Remember that? They took prayer out of schools. Anything where you want to put religion in there, they want to take that out. And they want to redefine marriage. That's anti-God. That's God-hating. And promote sexual promiscuity and the certain lifestyles they want to promote. And I'm not demonizing anybody, but the Bible says what the Bible says. And we have to tell people the truth. Do we want to tell them sweet lies or bitter truth? The bitter truth is what saves. Yes, better a harsh rebuke from a friend than a kiss from an enemy. We have to always remember that, guys. And I want you all to know that I really care about you guys. It means a lot that you all support me the way that you do. And I just really was talking to a relative of mine today, and I was like, we have to watch the media that we partake, what our eyes and ears take in, because I was talking to this preacher. Again, I mentioned him before, Pastor Cliff McAnthony. He's originally from Nigeria. And I will be posting that video with him. God gave him dreams concerning Donald Trump. You are not going to want to miss this. You have to immediately like and comment so that YouTube algorithm pushes the video out, and share it everywhere. Please share it everywhere. He's talking about the bewitchment. I call it brainwashing of the media, but he calls it bewitchment. The media is bewitching people and making them go along with satanic things. And I believe it because I'm listening to people and I'm like, they're saying crazy things. This doesn't make sense. They're going along with immoral things. But when we talk about putting the 10 Commandments in schools, and I'm talking about these people profess Christianity, and some of them I know are born again, but they're being bewitched. They're being brainwashed. They're actually going against putting 10 Commandments and prayer back and things like that, saying you can't legislate that. You can't legislate that. But God legislated it when he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. God blessed, the people of Israel when there was a godly king that promoted godly laws. So should not we, our leaders, promote godly laws? That's what the Bible says is good. So why are we against it? Because the media has bewitched us. It has brainwashed us to go along with evil things. We're okay. It's like it's getting people, it's normalizing it, is what it's doing. It's making things that are horrible normal. Any TV show, you got a gay couple, you got a twins, you got a this and a that. And the people inside of the TV show, the other characters are going, oh, that's so beautiful. And it's demonic. And it's not beautiful. It's anti-God. It's love to share the truth and tell people the truth. It's not being hateful to tell them the truth. It's being hateful, telling them a lie that living this lifestyle is going to be okay when it is not. We don't know when we're going to die. And wherever we go, good or bad, it's eternity. Okay. The most we get on this side, you might live to be 100 years old, but that's nothing compared to eternity. Eternity is eternity. And we need to protect our souls from the media, the demonic media. Some media is okay, but a lot of it is not. So for those of you who like to watch any and all types of TV shows, movies, and listen to secular music, this is a warning from, and I believe God is using me right now. I'm no preacher, no prophet. Be careful about that. Pray before you turn that hell-o-vision on. Yes, I call it the hell-o-vision. It's just facts. I know I've gotten to preaching, and I maybe you didn't bargain for all of this morning, but hey, it is what it is. That's what's in me. Okay, so what's in a person is eventually going to come out, and so yes, crypto trapper. Yes, a large portion of entertainment is left leaning. Yes, we need to read God's words, realize what is happening. Oh, you were inspired to write an ebook, Diane Riley, about bewitchment and how Christians are falling prey to the agenda of darkness. They are. Some of us are. I mean, seriously, I've talked to people who are Christian. I know this is getting off of Tim Walz, but I think you've seen enough about Tim Walz right now. We already know what he's about with the burning of the city, getting driver's licenses for illegals, and defunding police and letting crime go rampant. He's very left-leaning and radical. He wants marijuana to be legal, confiscation of guns. We already know. And that's who Kamala Harris's VP pick is, the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. So we already know. But now it's gotten into this little preaching thing that I'm doing. But we all need to be prayerful. We all need to focus on the word of God and do things accordingly. Some of you may or may not be saved on this live stream right now, but I encourage you all to give your life to the Lord, surrender to him. Just pray, say, God, where are you? If you've been hurt by church people, God, where are you? Where are you? Show me that you're real. Sincere heart, he will answer. And God is just awesome, and he's doing amazing things through his people. And he's using me. And I get a lot of demonic attacks. I do. I've received hate mail through email. I have, and I'm not making that up. Whenever you, and also, and I've mentioned this before, that Black conservatives, we really get looked at like we're crazy. We really get looked at like we're crazy. I mean, it's a bit difficult. It says here, make sure you have pews and have freedom seeds. God is with us. Make America pray again. That's right. It's really a no-brainer. Black Americans won't get their cornerback without voting. That's true. Signal Corps. Diane Riley, I believe you and know that you receive hate mail and threats. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but still, some of the comments, not very many comments now. It used to be when I first started doing YouTube that I got more bad comments, but now I think it's out there that I'm conservative. People don't even click on my video now. But I did get an email that was horrible. I don't know how this person found out how I voted in the gubernatorial race. I don't know how they found out how I voted, but they were upset at how I voted, and they were hoping bad things would happen to me. This person was very mean and nasty. What can you do? I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let that stop me. I just pray for God's protection and keep moving. We can't be afraid and silenced back into a corner. I'm not going to be silenced and put back into a corner. I'm not doing that. Yes. And so, hey, Rockin' with B Rock, you identify as non-religious. Okay, hope you're having a great day. Yes, Carolyn, I know. Carolyn, they're like that. You're supposed to vote like this. And then they've got, like, on Facebook, if you're not with Kamala Harris, I'm letting you know now. Let me know so I can block you. People are saying that. People are saying, I will block you if you're not with her. Well, I'm not with her, so you might as well go on and block me. We all need to wear our armor of God. But that's all I have for this live stream. Thank you all for joining. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I got some videos that I posted yesterday. I need you to go ahead and view those to the end, preferably. Like and comment and share. I posted a few videos yesterday. I typically do 3 videos, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, because so much going on sometimes, and I got some that I have to edit that I'm going to drop today. But I really appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. I'm on my way to 50,000 subscribers. This YouTube thing it has its ups and downs, its hills and valleys. Some days I'm cooking, I'm getting 2,000 subscribers a day, and then it's like I might get 100 a day. And So I'm going to try not to look at the numbers like that, because it can get you kind of in a funky way of thinking when things aren't moving the way you want them to, or moving as fast as you want them to. But we're human. We want things to move and grow. Yes, Trump 2024. Signal Corps, you said Harris will outsource and deceive Black Americans with everything she's got. Thank you, Carolyn. You guys, I really appreciate you all. Just really watch my videos and everything. I got some editing to do, but I wanted to just make that announcement. You know, Kamala Harris has selected her VP and is governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, a clefty lefty. Yes, you know that's my nickname for the far left people, clefty lefties. You all get the word out, get the word out, get out and vote. Get out and vote, and let's educate people and let our voices be heard. And you guys may want to get a YouTube channel. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America. And as I always say, march on, warriors. Bye, guys. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.